First off, let's go over what it's like having the van in this season.
Yeah, it's been an interesting year for me because I've been based out of Bend, Oregon. You know, the nice thing for me about being here is you got Mount Bachelor, like 20, 25 minutes up the road. And frankly, this year in particular, we've had some pretty big storms come through, and having the van and rolling up, beating traffic, you know, I roll up like 6:30, park in the parking lot, and then just post up and have a morning. It's been so nice because get the tunes going, make some drinks, make some breakfast. Inevitably, you know, people end up migrating to the van when there's a storm outside and lifts aren't opening on time.
Is this the first kind of season or setup where you felt like you've been able to like have your family or your crew with you?
Yeah, it's a unique year for me for sure. Like I've been kind of foot on the gas for, I don't know, 25 years or whatever. And it's kind of been a little blessing, I think, having Revel like right beginning of the season, because I'm kind of taking like I wouldn't quite say a winter off, but way slowed down approach to this coming season. I mean, I'm kind of starting my season in February basically this year. But it's been really pleasant, you know, frankly.
Do you think that you'll kind of continue that role into like this next chapter of life? Do you think it'll be more of like a change that sticks?
You know, I don't know if like this very slow rolled approach to winter, that probably won't be the case in the coming seasons, but you know, having a family of 4 versus a family of 3 is quite a big difference. And so, you know, it's all about balance and trying to make it work and being together. You know, I think it's obviously, I'm not a lone samurai on the road anymore, which I quite prefer. Having the family unit close, and you know, and they love winter, so I think it's more just chunks of, you know, being places where, you know, we can recreate and take advantage of like the resources, you know, summer, ocean, whatnot, and then winter being up in the mountain in the snow. And yeah.
Now that Jupe's just, with him being big enough to start skiing, actually get out on the mountain with you, how does it change, or what's rad about having the van where you can maybe get in a 30-minute or a couple of laps or something with him, and you have a place to come back to that's warm, that's food, that's not, hey, we got to make a haul to pack up and get there just to kind of get out?
There's a lot of benefits to having like the command center base camp, the mountain, just because, you know, whether it's we're able to like, you know, take turns taking runs, or, you know, even putting them down for a nap in the back, or having food and snacks, primarily for me, but, you know, second priority, he gets some snacks too, we can stash in there. There's a difference between being like single and selfish of how much you're able to like play and go immerse yourself. You know, it changes when you have a partner and you have a family. I think it changes for the better, but it's just different. And so, you know, for us, I think basing out of the van has given us that ability to still like be in the elements, you know, be at the beach or be in the mountains or, you know, be at the lake. And it's definitely allowed us to still have that kind of immersion into the elements, yet have the safety net of being able to have, you know, resources for the little ones.
Totally. Nap time is only a walk away.
Yeah, don't miss nap time.
What is the off season look like, feel like? What is kind of that like season routine of recharge, get ready, and then how's that going to change now with kiddos, maybe being a little more like localized, more road trip, more kind of home base, small mission type things versus that like recharge season?
With the family program, it just, things evolve a little bit. And I think we're still, you know, still love to travel and love to go forest bathing, and being able to like base out of a little, you know, mobile command unit, like our Flatline, it just makes things easier. Everything gets a little harder, so why not make at least some of it a little easier? Try to set yourself up for the ability to have a, you know, loaded van with the necessities. So it kind of gives you that little freedom. Because I, you know, guaranteed, one of my least favorite things is packing. Unpacking is like something you can kind of put off and get away with, but packing, there's a deadline. You have to have it done by the time that you need to leave. And so, I think for me, being able to just basically leave the van packed makes it so much easier.
How's natural selection going, and what's one of the other things besides riding that gets a lot of your attention now, or that you're excited about and you want to see really come to life?
Yeah, we're about 5-6 years in the kind of modern incarnation of natural selection. We're in our third, fourth season, and I mean it's been an awesome path. It's been a very exciting road, like a lot of work, and I think we've kind of continued to evolve, and hone our craft every year with putting on these events, catering to some of the world's best, the best conditions, best terrain. And I appreciate the challenge of so much of what we do is kind of never been done before, so you have to figure it out and get creative. There's a lot of things at play with aligning with Mother Nature for events. There's a lot you have to do, and all that comes before the big question mark of what are the conditions going to be in that day. So, we're in the probabilities game. We run the probabilities numbers and try to set ourselves up for success. And I think at the end of the day, we really just focus on being ready for if it happens, if the green lights across the board and conditions are right, well, at least we were there. If we get shut down, we look at it as still being successful if we were there ready to go, ready to do it. There's things you just can't control in life. And I think it's been awesome to see the mountain biking component kind of grow and evolve. We've been working on this amazing event down in New Zealand that's on the horizon down in Queenstown that we're really excited about. We've got an amazing partnership with Revelstoke. This year we're doing duels, and we have these amazing partnerships with Crested Butte, 11 Experiences, Scarp Ridge Lodge down at the Irwin Cat Tenure, right outside of Crested Butte, down in Durango at Purgatory. We're doing an amazing event. Right now our guys are over in Andermatt, Switzerland, doing an event. We just wrapped Miyoko in Japan, going up to Red Mountain up in British Columbia in 2 weeks. So, there's a lot happening with NST, and we've got, I think, more ideas than we'll ever be able to actually execute on. And I think it's just about trying to build something that at the end of the day is sustainable and that inevitably has benevolent and symbiotic attributes. Because if this thing is good for everyone that touches it, then I think it makes sense for it to continue.
Yeah. How have the riders responded to it? From what you hear, everybody seems stoked, everybody loves it, everybody's excited.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like a spectrum, from the riders, and you get everything from total gratitude, it's amazing, to hey, I need the prize money to be better. I need A, B, C, D, E, and F, which, yeah, fair enough. We want to be best in class, so we're working towards that. I think natural selection is probably a little bit different to everybody. But, I think at the end of the day, we set out to run a competition where in competition you could have riders lay down runs that would end video parts. And as an example, Mikkel Bang last winter ended his video part with his 2 runs from AK natural selection last year. So it was kind of funny. It was oh, well, I guess we are doing what we set out to do.
Yeah, check that box. Yeah, that's rad. What's a big hurdle to it? What's the biggest hurdle to make natural selection what you have in your head that it could be?
Biggest hurdle to making natural selection. I mean, I hate to say it, but I think one of the biggest hurdles with natural selection is one of monetary means, because the stuff, it costs money at the end of the day, and we have great partnerships that are all trying to do it, but you've got your boxes of resources from people, ideas, bandwidth, monetary. And I feel we're overly tooled up to do amazing work. And, frankly, I think it's simply resources. I mean, I'd love to say something else other than like, yeah, it's just the money. But I feel like our team has like everything so dialed. We have so many different locations that we could be doing this.
Yeah. A little bit of like a just give us what we need and it'll go to the moon kind of feel. Yeah. You got a stud group of people working with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, natural selection, we got an amazing team, for sure. Amazing group of people that all believe in it.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and then on the side, you know, the last year we launched this new marketplace called Cindy, which it's like buy, sell, rent, kind of a little bit of like a Poshmark for the outdoor industry meets like a Turo kind of component, trying to solve a lot of missing links everywhere from like, you know, from shops to like individuals that have assets, linking them to people that are looking for those assets. And it's like, there's a lot of fun things to do in life, and you shouldn't have to own every single device to go partake in that joy, you know? Like there is more than enough electric bikes, snowboards, split boards, kayaks to go around. And so it's kind of this like shared resource component where there's an efficiency to be had, even with the upcycling of like, you know, outerwear and gear, and helping bring down the cost barrier to participate in these things. You know, trying to provide, I think, more value for someone who is going to like invest in equipment that is of quality. You know, a world where like you don't have to buy the cheap shit that's gonna last you, you know, 10 days, but it's like the entry level, you know, price point. Get the nicer thing that's gonna last, and then it has a second, third life cycle, and you end up probably spending less capital if you can turn around and sell it than you would for buying like the cheap thing that breaks down and doesn't work.
Totally. Yeah, that barrier to enter is really cool too, because all these sports are rad, but they're so hard to jump into, let alone just know somebody to help, you know, show you the way. But to go rent a bike or to go do any of that stuff is steep. So that's rad. What else is fun? What are you doing that's totally not related to snow? Anything else that's just like a fun project? You're building another yurt on the property. You got a telescope you're assembling that comes out of your attic to see the moon. What's something crazy you're doing?
Yeah, no, I got all kinds of fun little side projects. Yeah, I'm working on this little like art film for a few years now that, I don't know, open-ended. We'll see when it's done. Kind of like a little natural history piece. Worked on a little bit the last few years. And kind of like a mind writing film, so to speak. And then beyond that, pretty focused on like the growing of family at the moment.
Let's jump to like favorite trip. Maybe talk a little bit about the road trip that you took, or road trip you want to take.
Yeah, we've done a couple epic trips in this. This past fall, actually, we left Jackson, rolled up through the Northwest, you know, camped along the way, and ended up heading all the way up to Vancouver Island for Robin Van Gyn and Austin Sweeten's wedding, which was an epic. Brought the Sea-Doo up and met up with Chris Rasman and a few other friends. We had some good surf sessions and had a couple epic like tow foiling sessions. Super fun. And then we went down to Victoria. Never been to Victoria before. That place is gorgeous. And then hopped a ferry down to Port Angeles and Squim, hang out with the Lib crew. Went down for Jamie Lynn's 50th. Had an epic little surf. I don't know, just, you know, the Northwest coast is just so beautiful. And want to spend some more time on the West Coast. It's so glorious up there. And then circling back, like coming down here to Bend. I don't know, just, dude, up in Canada, the Northwest, coastal Northwest. You look on where you go on the map, you know, and you realize just how many places that there are not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, land yachting, you know, I owned a sailboat for many years.
Yeah.
And hope to be a sailboat owner again in the future. And with a van, it's a similar component, right? Where you kind of set your itinerary, you know, factor in like what's the most fun route, or, you know, there's an educational component, learning and experiencing. And you kind of at the mercy of your own decision making. I mean, on a highway, it's a little, there's a little more guardrail. Like,
totally.
Versus the like open playing field of the ocean. But you know, one of the benefits is obviously especially with like young kids, it's a lot more resources, a lot easier to, the support that you could potentially need is much more readily available.
Totally.
Yeah. There's a urgent care in every little town, and
Yeah, taking your family out on a sailboat trip would be gnarly. That'd be a commitment.
Yeah, you kind of got a tool. Yeah, taking your family out on a true like ocean sailboat trip, you have to have all of the things that you could potentially need, including like medical.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's rad.
Stakes are a little greater.
Yeah, for sure. That's cool. That's a cool comparison. I've never been exposed to sailing, like open ocean sailing, that much. So I've never really thought about it, but it is kind of a cool comparison of that. But in like lower stakes or easier to be flexible, or maybe not as much of a commitment. I feel like if you're going to go on a sail trip, it's a month, or it's something that's pretty substantial. Not a, hey, we're going to do a 6-day hot lap down to Crater Lake and back or something.
Yeah.
Feels like you could really milk it.
Yeah, I mean, contrasting like sailing and land yachting, I mean, they're really pretty similar. They really are. You can flip a boat, you can flip a van. Rule number 1, like, don't get upside down.
Yeah.
And with the van, it's nice that you're probably not going to drag anchor. I suppose you get knocked over by like a tornado or something, but you're not going to drag anchor in the middle of the night, which is always really nice in the van. You sleep better in the van.
Yeah.
For sure. Everything's not covered in salt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I guess some winter roads, depending on where you are, but yeah. On the boat, everything just gets destroyed by salt.
Yeah.
Or sorry, on the ocean, everything just gets destroyed by salt. Yeah, no, the van, it's like sailing light, and you can get so many places so quick.
Yeah.
Sailing, you're psyched if you're going 10 miles an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're ripping.
Yeah, yeah. The scenery changes a little faster too.
Yes, scenery changes a lot faster.
Staring at the horizon.
Yeah, because in the van you get in trouble a little quicker.
Yeah. Yep.
With the fan, it's like, it can just be such a hassle, like going through airports with all your crap. You're within like 18 hours, like, 2 half-day drives, whatever. It's like so much easier to just drive and go do the things you need to do.
Yeah. Everybody's got home base. They're comfortable. They've got their stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just, you got your home with you. And I think with a lot of fun little projects that we have going with natural selection, and then a lot of like, I don't know, I get to work on like a lot of little gear projects, and it's, looking forward to the next chapter with 4, which we're totally set up perfectly for 4.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's perfect. Probably should get these guys to the lift.
I know the whole time I'm sitting here in the back of my head like, you guys need to go. Oh.